In today's video, we're gonna look at what is possibly my favorite player for the old draft. It's Marek Vanacker, a 6'1" forward playing for the Brentford Bulldogs in the OHL. The appeal of drafting a guy like Vanacker is that he can play on all lines while filling a different role on each one. He plays very hard, and even if he doesn't reach a level higher than the third line, that doesn't bother me at all. I instantly reserve a place for him to fill any role within my team. What he does well on the ice, he does it very well, and in many cases, these are the things that your skilled players need someone to do on their line, someone who does the dirty work for them. To better understand the player's attribute and why I have such a great affection for him, let's get straight to the point. When I said that Vanacker excels in somewhat niche aspect of the game, the first one would be in stealing the puck from his opponents. There is no one better than him in this draft in this aspect. In his case, it goes beyond just a simple matter of hard work and timing. It's a real art. As soon as he's on the ice, the chance of his team gaining possession of the puck skyrocket. If you want to allow your best offensive elements to benefit from the puck when they're on the ice, pair them with Vanacker. By himself, he nullifies many opposing counterattacks before they even have time to take shape, as he takes the disc away from the carrier by raising his stick in the neutral zone during a magnificent back check.
Bryant taken on the wall by Hayes, Ewens.
And Gallianoff looks to create some open ice for himself. And stick handles into trouble. And so they come in with these Brentford Bulldogs who might be a surprise atop.
Two offensive tours into Barry's zone in that kill.
Marek Vanacker trying to dispossess Bodwin through neutral ice. Bujo keeps it onside for Vanacker. Shanowski's going to activate the defenseman. Vanacker for Shanowski. Ty York. Giroux pulls that back to Mania. Swept away by Vanacker. Two defensemen run into each other. Vanacker breakaway on his forehand. Tried it across for Walton. Swept aside. Musty over the line. Able to drag it through the skates of Sobolev, but Vanacker on the back. Able to out across the front. Poole slammed into by Vanacker there. Vanacker working it along to Calvin Crombie on the left side. Back out front.
Where Vanacker just attacks that edge so well. Bulldog fans from year one.
Now the one-time set for, despite high score lines, but he has been outstanding the last 8 weeks as Vanacker feeds it over for Testa. Away from the check of Weigel. Grisolia turned it over to Vanacker. He scores!
Goal, then Frasca answered for Barry. Here comes Marek Vanacker stealing that puck and putting.
Smythe on for Cooper Foster. Puck chopped away. Jake O'Brien. Break chance on his foot. The puck down to his stick. Working high. Swept away by Vanacker.
And not that that'll be an easy one, but you're playing the one where Okatundu got hurt, I believe.
Indeed. As Vanacker over the line. Rabella had 2 assists as a defenseman earlier this year against Peterborough and Windsor.
Yeah, and 5:24 apart have the Bulldogs up in a 2-1 lead here.
Vanacker working his way ahead off the left for a drive. Save! To the right wing corner. That's the kind of defense partner you want. Marek Vanacker trying to skip away 2-on-1 with Cole Brown. Vanacker left for Brown right. Puck got on edge. Brown whips it back to the front. Saved by Flores. Deflected puck. Gets around back of the goal. Mason Ray carrying on into neutral ice. Up over the Bulldogs line. Lost his footing.
Again, you just see a display what Marek Vanacker brings. Just that explosive burst to turn that from a 2-on-2 to a 2-on-1.
Puck roll. He'll chase Morelli himself. Torrance tried to lift the stick of Vanacker. Wins the puck. Played to the slot. Comes all the way to the line. Chen off the right. His drive.
Vanacker also excels at disrupting the puck carrier. Opposing players can never get too comfortable in possession of the disc. They cannot temper the game in their own way in the face of the incessant pressure from the Bulldogs forward. On back check, but also in forecheck where he stands out. One of the reasons why Vanacker is so successful in annoying his opponents and making them lose the puck is that despite an average size, he's 6'1", he plays with a relatively very long stick. Although the two players play different positions, it reminds me a lot of Tanner Molendyk from last year. His reach was much greater than his opponents expected, and before they even knew it, the puck had slipped away from their possession. It's pretty much the same story with Vanacker. His opponents always seem surprised when they lose the puck to him because they don't expect his reach to be that long. He plays with a very high level of intensity at all time. He jumps on loose puck even though he knows he will have to pay the price. What I like about the moment when he finishes it is that he is sneaky. Just like with his stick lift, his opponents don't expect it and it hurts. I also love the fearlessness as on some hits, he literally propels himself towards his opponents while he is skating at high speed. I saw some sequences where I said to myself, God damn, does having a guy like this help to unite your team on the ice? He will be the first to jump into the scrums. One in particular where, after scoring a goal himself, a skirmish with a teammate began and without even taking the time to celebrate his goal, he rushed at an opponent like a real lunatic. I thought he was going to rip his freaking head off. I'm telling you, I take this player on my team every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Another thing to love about his game is that when we watch him on the ice, it would be impossible for us to guess what the score is and how much time is left in the game. One sequence in particular stood out to me. With his team leading 7-1 and with just over a minute left in the game, Vanacker was racing down the ice looking to create turnovers on the penalty kill. He is one of the best athletes in the draft. His skating doesn't seem to be unanimous among various observers, but I consider it to be very good. Although he seems to waste a lot of energy when skating, he is very explosive and reach impressive top speeds. Skating can be a perilous category to analyze. From my experience, if there is one aspect among a prospect game in which we can observe inconsistencies, it is in this one. There are so many factors that come into play. The seasons are long and grueling and fatigue can be felt. A player can also be bothered by a minor injury and this can affect his stride. There's also the fact that a player can be a speedster on the ice without this giving him any advantage. If the player doesn't have a great work ethic, it will not make him an effective player without the puck, and if he doesn't have a great hockey IQ, his speed will be of no use to him in possession of the puck.
And it's 2 points for the incredible rookie.
Well, and it's a counter punch off a great feed. Nice little touch pass by Vanacker to O'Brien to set up that 2-on-1 coming out of the zone. And Vanacker opens the body up here nicely so he can take this one time right away and
side by Owen Flores. Van Netten works the right wing. Kicked aside by Igorov. Lavoie turns and spins it out of the zone. Puck gets past the stick of Klein. And it would have side. Tried to lay that back to the line. Klein was the only man in the neighborhood. He's got Asadorian 2-on-1 shorthanded. Asadorian cuts middle for a drive. Save Igorov. And O'Brien get on the forecheck. Centered for Zada, and that one guided aside by Igorov. Marek Vanacker over the line. A player that Oshawa got for a song in Connor Lockhart. Doing business.
highest scoring teams in the OHL in this game. Generals 7th at 3.9 goals per game. The Bulldogs 8th at 3.87.
Vanacker trying to slide through 5. Puck leaked to the front. Vanacker's there to take. Vanacker up the rink. Could be 2 with Nick Lardis. Okatundu joins as well.
Quick shot there by the Wolves' Yearwood, but it missed the net. Now Prox will have a go at it.
In the case of Vanacker, I love how he uses short distance explosion to make himself available in the slot by escaping the coverage of his coverer. Not only does his athleticism shine, but I also see a form of intelligence, as in just a fraction of a second after handling the puck to a teammate, he spots a gap in the defensive coverage and heads for it immediately. On top of that, I also like how his stick stays on the ice at all times when he gains access to these spots.
A number of seconds just by clearing the puck. Nice and easy that way. You got to get the puck.
Additionally, Vanacker is extremely dangerous from the goal line. He attacks the goalie along that line as well as anyone in this draft. To do that, it is once again his athletic qualities and how he can break away from his coverer with a sudden pivot on himself before exploding towards the goalkeeper. I think we don't give him enough credit for his offensive skill, and how he can create a quality scoring chance from a armless battle in the corner of the ice is a strong testament to that.
As he mans the points here. Jack-eye, Vanacker, great move, and he tried to go.
The way he retrieves the pucks, his vision, he sees those little real estate like a surgeon.
Off the right wing half boards to Vanacker along the goal line. Steps out front, hit the underside of the bar.
Oh, helping out, and then just speeds us back to Vanacker. And see that quick first step, and almost beat.
On the far wing, Okitundu down to the goal line. Vanacker spins away from Danford. Marek Vanacker stepping in front of the net, lost the puck. O'Brien, Bugeaud stopped by.
When I said in the introduction that Vanacker does what a skilled guy needs his partner to do on the ice, I also had in mind his play as a net front presence on the power play. Where Vanacker makes a unique contribution is that he is excessively quick to jump on rebounds. His determination also means that he is not afraid to pay the price. In addition, he is not just a simple body that is placed in front of the goalie. He does more than the job of a simple screen. He redirects shots or pass, and he leaves his position to recover pucks behind the net thanks to his explosiveness. One aspect of his game that will seem oddly specific but that also deserves some praise is the quality of his passing in transition. He joins teammates through several bodies, and the liveliness and precision of his passes over long distance is very impressive.
20 seconds to go in period number 2. Away momentum after the Ritchie short-handed goal. The Bulldogs have snatched it. Brantford. Marek Vanacker slides it up again. Loose puck picked up by Marek Vanacker.
Ben Bugeaud just got that puck away before traffic could arrive.
The ice.
Marek Vanacker gunning that up ahead.
If we look more in depth at his individual skills, Vanacker is a player who has relatively good hands. He is able from time to time to come up with a dangle and beat a defender one-on-one.
Line 6'2", so that was a heavy collision to say the least. Lavoie out front of the net to get it in deep. Marek Vanacker opened the scoring at 23 seconds and ripped one over the net. Vanacker with a good move on the boards around. Paris gets one to Lavoie, side of the net.
Lardis takes possession on to Marek Vanacker. Vanacker slides away from Leskovar, kept it moving himself.
And now the goal announcement for Caleb Smith. A lot of members of the Smith family surely in attendance from Western New York here today. And Malcolm Spence and Brett Brisson.
Centering pass for Seneca gets knocked down. Terry Johnston, the public address announcer here in Oshawa, giving the announcement as Vanacker walks in, poked away by.
In the second period, Nelson has not returned as Vanacker carries over the line, finds space into the slot.
Usually, players with a longer reach will have to deal with some limitations in terms of their puck handling. More specifically, it is along the board that we can see these players appearing to be handcuffed. Surprisingly, this is a location where Vanacker demonstrates great ingenuity. He sends the puck with his backhand onto the boards on the other side from where he is, and by turning around, he gets rid of his opponent's coverage.
Packed to the rafters, like the old Jack Gatecliff was for Niagara.
Continued business as usual. And I think what really caused that is the fact that, yes, they had your McTavishes and co that they were able to bring in for that, but
As for his scoring skills, this is not an aspect of his game where Vanacker demonstrates innate talent. The quality of his shot is decent. Even if I don't think he's a player with a lot of finishing skills, I think he will score his fair share of goals in the NHL anyway. As we have seen, he is very dangerous from the goal line, and he's very good at getting to dangerous zone while keeping his sticks on the ice at all times. Where Vanacker demonstrates a certain upside as a shooter is that he always attacks goalkeepers with a lot of speed. This causes them to move backwards, opening the top of the net.
Puck bounced back out. Holmes now on to Chromiak. Played it off the linesman, Andre Grugru, and it's now on to Gabriel Frasca. Dropped it to the slot, nobody home. Zachary Lavoie swings forward. Vanacker on the break, left side, hits the crossbar. Roll to Sobolev.
Second point in 6 games for Kompotic.
Lavoie for Vanacker, forward, scores! Marek Vanacker!
Here for the Bulldogs, and again you see that speed of Marek Vanacker, gets the outside edge, turns Bedkowski, and just nice little finish there.
If there's one aspect of his game that I think is truly underrated, it's his passing skills. Vanacker is able of connecting plays with his teammates in dangerous zone. And having played the majority of the time with offensive elements on his line, they could give him the puck with the confidence that it would come back to them and that the play wasn't going to die because of him. One of the things that he does well is that he doesn't rush the puck without thinking. He raises his head for gathering information before grabbing the puck in order to identify the best option he has. But what impressed me the most is how he's able to thread the needle on difficult passes. I'm talking about long distance passes undercover or through multiple obstacles.
Roberts up for Marek Vanacker. Carrying into the offensive zone, rink wide, Zachary Lavoie's drop. Florian Jacki, backhander for Lavoie, over the line, Vanacker pulls up, Jacki in front, backdoor for Lavoie. For Florian Jacki, now to Marek Vanacker, back to Jacki.
On the near boards, floats it out to center. Morelli knocked it down, but right to Marek Vanacker. Vanacker stomps on the far boards, plays it off to Jake O'Brien walking in.
And it's on for Marek Vanacker. Vanacker gaining a little bit of space on the left side. Guides middle, O'Brien over to Daniel Chen.
And I saved the best for last. Look how he places the puck into an open space, uses athleticism to slip under his opponent, and then make a play. I swear to God, I was screaming when I saw this sequence. Vanacker was a big favorite of mine from my very first viewing of the player at the beginning of January. As I said earlier, it is possible that he doesn't reach more than the third line within the depth chart of his team, but even if that's the case, I want him on my third line. I was a pretty big fan of John Jason Peterka in his draft year. I had him ranked at 16 on my list, and I see some similarities between the two. And I would like to remind you that the German player didn't suggest such a good production in the NHL when he was a prospect, so we must not close the door to Vanacker and put a cap on his potential. I would like to end by opening a little discussion about his teammate number 44, Jake O'Brien. I think he's a fantastic player and he's already my favorite for next year's draft. Seeing a 16 years old dictate the play like he did in his rookie year was fascinating. Of course, there isn't much discussion surrounding next year's draft, but from what I've seen so far, he's ranked way too low. I've seen him around 10 for the OHL alone in one list. I'm going to throw at you what we could call a hot take, but he's currently ahead Michael Misa on my list. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets dangerously close to 100 points next year in his draft season, and I believe that from the second half of the season, his name will be well established in the discussion surrounding the selection 6 to 10 for the draft. He is currently 5th for me. Anyway, that was all for Marek Vanacker, and for me, this was my last video of the year, and in 2 days I will post my official 2024 NHL draft ranking, so I will probably make a quick video on YouTube to announce it and post the link also in the video. So, see you then.
Backdoor, had O'Brien a little bit too heavy. O'Brien pinballs one off of a glove. Vanacker tried to whack. As Marek Vanacker delivers it out front. Lavoie, middle. Vanacker's shot. Krampotic sends it around the end wall. Ewens shovels it out high. Vanacker with the steal. It's he and Lavoie. 2-on-1 at McGowan. Vanacker pulls and shot. Looking ahead for Lavoie, who's got Vanacker all the way left. Vanacker catch and release. Save for O'Brien. McGowan gets back into the play as Lavoie works it wide for Vanacker. On for Roberts. Roberts steps down. Sends that towards the front. Vanacker tried to Thomas and Jacki as a turnover in front. Vanacker backside.
And that didn't work. Out front, Lavoie. Great feed. They score. Vanacker has given.
And you watch Big 78 right alone.
By Federico in the corner. Fellow former Ice Dog out front. Vanacker.
On Charlie Robertson, and what a beautiful goal this is. Watch his mental capacity here to just get in the open, get in the right spot. Where's the stick on the ice? Upstairs in a hurry.
Left, away from Shinowski. Deals it on to Vanacker in front. Saved by
like that on the Niagara bench.
Which
Understandable.
A little bit surprised there wasn't an arm up. Vanacker wide on the left, working it over to Brown, spins it back across middle. He'll wait, down low, Vanacker walks off the goal line. Playing that along, given up to the middle of the ice, Vanacker, save made by I believe by Giroux. Vanacker around for Lavoie, short side. Takes it around behind the goal, Vanacker for Jacki, poked it. Florian, I got tongue-tied on one of those the other night reading to Wyatt. It was very odd. Backside, Zachary Lavoie. Down the boards, Florian Jacki. Out front, Vanacker. What a
See that sixth player coming on.
Vanacker pulls and fires. It was Rebello. Back to O'Brien off the right. Through his feet. Backdoor. Robert Thomas. Laid back towards the blue line. Intercepted. Lavoie and Vanacker could be 2-on-1. Vanacker left circle drive. Scores!
And Lavoie and Cormac, you just see he's in no man's land here. Lavoie's coming on the backside, and he just wrong foots.
Sobolev, low to Vanacker into the right circle. Hit.
Just Nick Whitehead. Forward was scratching to going with 11-7.
Puck out front, Lavoie. Oh, and Sobolev's stick explodes in his hands.
Huh. Haven't seen that before. He's just stick handling.
That was a new one. Lardis across for Thomas off the right side. Pulls back for Vanacker. Save made by McKenzie. Out front, taken by Zachary Lavoie. Lavoie rink wide for Vanacker off the left, working at Sermon. His drive. Put it up over the net, dented back glass. Vanacker off the right side, cuts middle, has a look from the slot, gloves his stick, played on and out of the zone to Vanacker. Vanacker turns it wide for Lardis. Over the line, Lardis' drive comes off of a skate. Prout's trying to hop right back to the puck. Vanacker below the goal line for Lardis. Save made.
And the extra attacker will come on the ice. Vanacker finds Lavoie. Lavoie, his pass into the middle. A shot.
Vanacker into neutral ice. Over the line. Vanacker trying to cut middle. Playing it off for O'Brien in some space. Smythe at 5'11". Sobolev, left side. Vanacker across. Lardis didn't get that one into the back of the net. It comes off the end boards and in.
Reed, sometimes you got to be good to be lucky and lucky to be good. This one, Lardis, crazy hop there, bounces off the back of McKenna. Conversation with one of the referees here just in front of
Zachary Lavoie gunning it around the back of the net. Marek Vanacker catches it left wing side, tosses front. He won.
Yeah, right out of the break, they come out with a bit of a jump in their step. Gavin Bryan especially.
Vanacker back for Noah Roberts.
Nice little move, he gets some separation, gets to the center of the ice, and fires that puck through a crowd. A couple of friendly Bulldog sticks in front of the net, and it's Marek Vanacker who's going to get a piece of
puck all the way around the boards. Moore keeps it moving down the right. Vanacker for O'Brien, deflected high. Vanacker brought it down and scored!